What's good, y'all? I've got some sick buffs from my boy Aggron, a really cool Pokemon that I'm sure a lot of you guys really like. Um, Lairon, Aggron, and Mega Aggron all have their own little unique things that they can do, with Lairon even being situationally viable over Aggron, even past level 45. Yes, they are now pseudo-legendaries. Yes, they now have the part dragon typing. It fits pretty damn well in my opinion, and I think it's super cool, and it's obviously a much better typing than Steel and Rock, although Steel and Rock gets a lot of hate. I don't think it's that bad, especially in a ROM hack context where you have the freedom to just, switch around on super effective moves instead of, you know, having to take them. But that's, not relevant here. My point is, Aggron has an awesome new typing. They are now a pseudo-legendary, of which there are several new ones in this hack. If you're coming up straight off of the XBlood video, then you'll know that he is also now a pseudo-legendary, and he also now has the dragon typing. That's not to say that I just go and slap dragon type on any vaguely monstrous 3-stage evolutionary line and make them all pseudo-legendaries. It's just, I kind of tried to upload them both on the same day because I thought it was cool. There are a lot of pseudos, and not all of them are dragon types. In fact, most of them are not dragon types. So yeah, before I get into any more of the cool buffs and changes for Aggron, I do want to have a quick disclaimer for any new viewers. This is not your average run-of-the-mill ROM hack, although I'm pretty sure that's at least somewhat apparent from the magnitude of the buffs and changes I made to this line and all the other Pokemon in the hack. You can check out the move buffs and changes in the description below on the Google Sheet. It's linked right below, and you can look at all 600 plus move buffs and changes right here on this Google Sheet. If you click these little tabs, it'll take you to all of these various categories, and you can check out the moves there. Those are super important, so I highly recommend you give that a look if you haven't done that already. Returning viewers might be thinking, well, what did you change with Aggron from the previous time you uploaded their video? I ended up swapping out Ruthless for Headstrong. Ruthless is a great ability. It's really strong, but it felt kind of mid in comparison to Hustle on this specific Pokemon because Aggron is not that fast, and because at level 45 the 50% crit moves aren't that great anymore unless you're a fast Pokemon. Because then it's more worthwhile using. But on a slower Pokemon like this, I feel like you'd rather use Hustle, like Dragon Tail and priority moves and stuff more often than you would rather use like Ruthless Dragon Claw and stuff, like with Scope Lens. It's just not that great. And then all the guaranteed crit rate moves you have are already affected by Hustle, like First Impression, Finishing Blow, stuff like that is already affected by Hustle. So it's like, by affected by Hustle, all moves are affected by Hustle, or all physical moves are. What I mean by affected by Hustle is if you're new here, Hustle was massively buffed in this hack. All priority moves no longer miss, as well as a bunch of random, moves that I chose just because they were kind of obscure, or I thought they were cool, or I thought they made sense, or I thought they were useful. So Aggron gets access to Draco Jet via Tutor, which is stab and hustle boosted. He also gets access to First Impression, which is hustle boosted and very powerful. I believe I also give him Sucker Punch, but let me triple check my backs there before I go on and say stuff that isn't true. I might have not given him Sucker Punch, actually. Hikey might have not given it to him. Also, I can remove Lairon from that list now because Lairon was also changed. Lairon now has Battle Armor instead of Hustle. I think Lairon fits more being purely defensive compared to Aggron. And then Mega Aggron is also very defensive with the abilities Iron Barbs and Bulletproof. Bulletproof making him immune to all types of very common attacks in the hack, especially ones like Mud Bomb, Aura Sphere, and Focus Blast, which he is weak to as a Steel and Dragon type. So that is really awesome. Searing Shot as well, being immune to that is awesome. Shadow Ball even is really nice just because it's a strong neutral attack that comes from strong Pokemon a lot of the time. Even the resisted moves like, Energy Ball and stuff, like you 4 times resist that, but it's still nice to be immune. But Bulletproof also fits his vibes really well. I like it a lot. And then Iron Barbs, I think, also fits very well. And all Pokemon in this hack have access to a reliable recovery move for the most part. In this case, you have Fortify, which is Steel-type recover, so you can use that with your Aggron to make him, an incredible defensive tank. Same with Lairon, who will be totally great until level 45 if you do choose to evolve right away. And again, like I said, you can choose to evolve him later because there are dozens of new moves in this hack that will always crit, and Battle Armor completely, neuters the damage output from those. Meanwhile, Filter, which was previously on Mega Aggron, is now on Lairon and Aggron, so they are even bulkier than Aggron. Within a Violite, they're incredibly tanky, so you can totally take advantage of like bulky later on and live hits, and you're still pretty strong 100 base attacker. 110, let me go check, hold on. But yeah, this is the full list of all the crit moves, so these are dealing significantly less damage, and that's really good because a lot of the counterplay is relatively limited for these crit moves compared to regular moves, because you can't use Intimidate, you can't Parting Shot, those will all bypass through crit moves. So having access to, having things to switch in easier on crit moves like later on with Battle Armor is really nice, and then Filter is obviously really good. But yeah, Headstrong with Aggron. Also, yeah, it's 100 base attack, but 135 attack Aggron. Hustle is well over 200 base attack equivalent. It's like extremely powerful. And with Hustle, you can use moves like Dragon Tail, which are now 90 base power and will never miss. And you're obviously very bulky, so you can use like Dragon Tail, Fortify, Draco Jet, whatever you want to do. And that's super sick. Also, yeah, I didn't give Sucker Punch. I don't see it anyways. We do have Draco Jet though for priority, which is nice, and first impression. So those two are plenty good enough. Skull Bash will give you +1 attack, accuracy, and defense now, so that's really powerful with Hustle. Smart Strike. Oh my God, how am I not mentioning that yet? Smart Strike is like the best Hustle move you get by a long shot. It's absurd. So Smart Strike will give you +1 accuracy and will never miss. So it's 75 base power. It's only slightly weaker than Iron Head, and after you click Smart Strike, none of your moves will miss anymore with Hustle. It's so strong, man. It's such a good option. You don't even have to run stuff like Dragon Tail or Draco Jet if you don't want to with Smart Strike, as long as you click Smart Strike first, which is quote-unquote the downside. Obviously, stuff like Dragon Tail and Draco Jet still has immense use, though. There are a couple other moves like False Strike, which gives you, essentially it's False Swipe, but it's Dragon type, and it gives you +1 attack and accuracy each time you click it. So you can use that, and you can actually not knock the opponent out, and you can rack up attack and accuracy boosts and spam stuff like Draco Jet from there. Parting Shot is great, you know, Fortify is great. Even stuff like T-Spikes is nice for certain niche situations versus bosses. Metal Burst is obviously great. Battle Cry is awesome. That drops attack and special attack by -2. So that's all great for Lairon, Aggron, and Mega Aggron. I really like how once you get the Mega... I would say a Violet Lairon is very, very, very viable up until like post Aether Foundation, because after that in Sequel Village you'll be able to buy the Mega Stones for the pseudo legendaries, and it's like at that point you have the defensive choice of Mega Aggron. Obviously, I think Violet Lairon might actually be genuinely a little bit bulkier than Mega Aggron, but of course Mega Aggron is significantly stronger and has different abilities. So, and then you have the choice between, for every boss fight, you have the choice between the offensive Aggron and the more defensively oriented Mega Aggron, who isn't weak by any means. So it's kind of like up to you which one you would rather use. But yeah, that's really cool. And then as for Headstrong, which I didn't cover yet, you can use a lot of recoil moves. So essentially with Headstrong, you have access to Stab Dragon Hammer, which will normally deal 20% recoil and is 110 base power. And you also have the moves Takedown. I'll just go on the list here. You have the moves Takedown, Play Rough, Wild Charge, and Rock Climb. Of course, he's no longer Rock type, so he doesn't get Stab on Head Smash or Rock Climb, but there's still really good coverage options for a Steel and Dragon type. And of course, the defensive utility that comes with being a Steel and Dragon type is more than worth losing Stab on Head Smash, especially when you're not that fast of a Pokemon. Oh, I also forgot to give Mega Swampert Brutus Swing. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it. Oh, I think I know why I didn't give it. It's because I don't like the animation on non-Mega Aggron, but it's a non-Mega Swampert, but I'll just give it anyways. But back on topic, yeah, Headlong Rush, Head Smash, very, very powerful. However, those still will drop your defense and special defense by -1, so do keep that in mind. It doesn't prevent that, it only prevents the recoil. And then you have access to Dragon Hammer, Play Rough, Rock Climb, Take Down, and Wild Charge. So that's really good for Headstrong. It's just a solid ability. And of course, you can still use Dragon Hammer and stuff on Hustle sets, either with a Wide Lens, which is buffed in this hack, or with Smart Strike, or whatever you want to do. So you don't have to, limit yourself to only using Headstrong while you're using recoil moves. It's mostly just if you need the extra oomph, you can use Hustle. If you need the priority boost with Draco Jet or First Impression, you use Hustle. So that with that infinite usability capsule, you're essentially switching to Hustle when you need that power. Otherwise, you can use Headstrong and just use regular old recoil moves. You can also use Assault Vest on Aggron. He's got much better HP, because in this hack I do base HP more on the size of the Pokemon. So if you go to, we already know how Aggron is giant, but especially Mega Aggron is huge. So I wanted to give them, a really, really hefty HP stat of base 115, and then their defense is dropped, and just to make up for it, even though with this typing and of course the HP increase, they're still significantly bulkier than they used to be. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Like, the recoil moves are great. Hustle's awesome. Heavy Slam and Outrageous stuff is still really strong. A bunch of other great coverage moves that you have via TM and Tutor that you can teach whenever you need them. But in general, like, Hustle, Smart Strike, Draco Jet, First Impression, all that stuff is great. Bulky or Parting Shot, Fortify, again, like I said, is Steel type recover. All that stuff is great. Violet Lairon is great. Mega Aggron is awesome with Fortify and Battle Cry and all that other stuff. So as a whole, all three of them would be an absolute blast to use. Aggron's a sick Pokemon, so I love giving him, the power that he deserves. and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want any more further elaboration, you can always listen to the original video. But I do talk about Ruthless quite a bit in that one, and it's not relevant anymore because they don't have that anymore. So yeah, just make sure you keep that in mind. Lastly, oh my god, Rock Polish. Yeah, I keep blanking on things. I'll keep going. But yeah, Rock Polish is awesome. Rock Polish will give you +1 accuracy and +2 speed. So that's beautiful on Aggron for Hustle. That's insane. Very, very, very good setup move. And you do resist first impression, and you have incredible base defense. So one of the most common priority moves in the game won't scare you. So Rock Polish Hustle Aggron is genuinely a really good sweeper for this hack. Not that you need to sweep every boss fight. I bet you'll even be able to with other phasing options. But yeah, Rock Polish, very, very good. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. It's also good on Headstrong, by the way, but it's especially on Hustle because of the accuracy boost. I don't know why you'd use use holy crap. I don't know why you'd use Headstrong over Hustle for Rock Polish, but situationally, I guess if you really didn't want to take recoil, but you can also just use Shell Bell to heal 20% recoil damage, so it's like, I don't see a point. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, great defensive utility, obviously. Great offensive. Really cool buffs overall. I'll be back for more coming up. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I appreciate you listening this far into the video. Shout out to you. And I'll be back for more. Peace.